Hello everybody and welcome to the Chassis Chariot series, or just the Chariot series for short, because it's just getting all confused now. But hey, it's more gameplay video from me, Critical Rocket, that guy who's just barely passable for you all, and you tolerate it. So here we go with some MechWarrior Online RVN-4L footage. Yeah, that's right, the 4L, the ultimate culmination of the original Raven project by the Capellan Confederation, where the original was the dawning of a new type of technology in the form of Guardian ECM, or at least the resurrection of such technology after the fall of the Star League. The Capellans always had that slight edge, despite the fact that they had numerous setbacks throughout the wars and lost a lot of territory to the likes of House Davian and some of its other competitors. It's always maintained that interest in pushing the technology forward in an era that could be considered as almost a technological dark age in a way. They brought out designs like the Cataphract alongside other new designs over the years. Later designs would include things like the Menchen and the Duangung, and the Raven was one of their sort of top-of-the-line light mechs that was assigned to a lot of their elite units at the time. And the Guardian ECM technology, although it eventually did fall into the hands of other successor states, did give them quite an edge for a long while. It would have been interesting to see how they would have handled some clan units engaging Capellan forces equipped with relatively similar tech. So the 4L, however, was a late development, taking the standard 3L template and utilising the newly developed stealth armour. Stealth armour in MechWarrior Online obviously functions with a means of being able to make you completely invisible to sensors at the cost that you can't really dissipate heat. Essentially, the armour closes up most of the vents and reduces your signature as much as humanly possible. As far as I remember on tabletop, it works in a relatively similar fashion in the sense that it makes it impossible, I think, for lock-on weapons to fire on you, and it's basically direct line of sight weapons are the only things that you can roll to hit, and it's still quite hard to hit the target. In MechWarrior Online, it's a pretty good representation of how the tech works, and this version of it comes with 2 ER mediums and a SRM-6, and I believe a NARC launcher as well. So you have to kind of play around with a few things to get the NARC launcher. I sacrificed a ton of the NARC ammo on what was originally my 3L. I usually have 2 tons of ammo on there, and I kept the 2 tons of SRM-6 ammo because, I don't know, reasons. Probably should have done it the other way around, but yeah, you can tweak it however you feel, obviously. Ravens with stealth armor, it seems like a perfect mix anyway. I imagine a lot of people already running a Raven 3L with this stealth armor. It seems like a no-brainer. I personally don't really have that many mechs with the stuff equipped, so it's quite fun to run around with it. Same with the Flea, obviously their version that has stealth armor, which is, funnily enough, also a Capellan model. Yeah, it's good. It's fun to be able to have that freedom to move around parts of the map that the enemy are normally looking at, but because you don't show up on any kind of signals or radar, you can pop up in unexpected locations and get hit. Obviously, the major downside with this build is, yes, it's invisible, but it can't do a lot of damage. That is one of the big drawbacks of this design. Tabletop, again, 2 ER mediums is a decent amount of damage with a single SRM-6. You can plug away quite a lot. But then again, this thing's role isn't meant to kill. It's meant to highlight targets via its NARC beacon, targets of opportunity, engaging light vehicles or fixed positions, and the occasional mech is what it's supposed to be attacking. But it isn't meant to really go one-on-one, even with other lights, I would imagine. It's an interesting thing, really. A lot of light mechs in Battletech aren't really designed for combat against other mechs in real terms. I mean, there are exceptions, obviously. There are things like the Panther and the Wolfhound and such, but a lot of them usually have a role of being just that, they're scouts. They reconnoiter, they find targets, they'll engage vehicles and things like that because they have the speed to be able to quickly run past certain vehicles like heavier tanks, and mechs always have an advantage over tanks because they can just literally step on them. So even light mechs have an advantage against those things. But against other mechs, generally, light mechs don't really want to get into fights with other mechs because of that. And the Raven, I think, has always been one of those examples. It's just a mech that's not really designed to go toe-to-toe. Unless it's part of a lance that's all attacking a single target, that kind of thing. So this plays into my wheelhouse because I like playing support a lot of the time. Working with other people in the team, focusing fire on a single target, and a stealth Raven can do that. can do that quite well. And yeah, obviously, if you haven't really checked out the Raven, it's not a bad mech at all. It's a pretty good light. For a long time, it has, you know, soldiered through the many updates of MechWarrior Online to remain one of those viable light mechs, one of those viable light designs. It can be a long-range sniper if that's how you want to play it. It can be a short-range harasser, it can be a support mech, it can be a little narker. It's got a lot of options available to you depending on how you want to play. Speed is pretty generous. I'd say the only thing it really lacks is a lot of builds that come with things like jump jets. The Hugin, I believe that's how it's pronounced, but it might not. It might be the. I know some people I think are pronouncing it differently, and I don't really know. So correct me down there below in the comments. That was a pretty good hero when it came out, but I don't know how it stacks up compared to a lot of the other builds that are out there today. I mean, you're talking about a mech that was out, that was like 2013? Something like that. I mean, this mech, 2013 or 14, this mech has been around in MechWarrior for a long time, and it looks cool as well. It's one of the coolest looking light mechs that was ever made for Battletech, and this redesign was always really good. It's very striking, unique silhouette. It was quite good, and yeah, I think that this one's wrapping up now. But looks of it, yeah. This was a weird one. The two teams basically swapped sides of the map. Their team tried to go for the base because I think they just decided to try and face tank it, and we realised and got behind them and just murderized them. So that was the end of that one. Thank you all for watching. It's only the one this week because sadly I couldn't do the other variant because there weren't enough hard points. So the following week though there are 2 videos doing the Wolfhounds. So yeah, stick with us then. Going to overrun into the outro a bit. So yeah, we're going to be looking at Wolfhounds, a couple of builds there, and yeah, that's going to go to a couple of clan mechs because it'll be 2 minutes. I'll do 2 clans. So yeah, thanks for sticking with me through the outro. Have a good week all, and I'll see you next time. Bye.